and ST118. Thank you for the opportunity. We'll start with 2007, and I'll be brief. The RI Developmental Disabilities Council has signed on to the written testimony that was submitted by Common Cause, but just specifically on the key issues here of how it affects the population that we represent. Having all of the three possibilities for how to vote available for people who have disabilities, who are trying to make a decision on which one works for them. That worked very well last year. Now it allowed a lot more people to get their vote in, and we think that having those fully available going forward is a real help. On the specific things, the signature piece has oftentimes with people with disabilities been difficult for them to get signatures that are neutral, and sometimes it is people that invade their privacy while doing that signature piece, and it just opens up that possibility. And as has been stated, really doesn't accomplish anything because those signatures aren't checked. So all it does is makes the process vulnerable on their end without really providing any security. The Braille the early deadline removal on the Braille thing just brings us up with the times when this deadline was put into place. Producing a Braille ballot was much more difficult. But with technology now, and we can produce all kinds of things with a computer, we can also produce the Braille ballots much more quickly, so there's no reason for that time and eliminating a lot of people that didn't make the deadline being able to vote with a Braille ballot when they need it. And then early voting has helped with people's choices, as I said, and making it so it really is early voting and not a dance around being an emergency. It's much more accessible for people. Moving on to H2118, the RI Developmental Disabilities Council feels that making the provision to RI voters with disabilities to have an option to receive, complete, and return their ballot electronically will increase access and privacy for many of the voters. It works on the issue of not having to print it out and make sure it's printed right. If you have visual impairments, it means that you then have to show your ballot to someone else. It's the only way you can make sure before you put that ballot in an envelope that it is your ballot. Whereas if we can go to the electronic, you can do that all by yourself in the privacy like everyone else. Under the present system, where voters with disabilities complete and return a paper ballot, many voters with disability cannot vote independently in paper form and are unable to use a computer or adaptive equipment to complete the ballot. Instead, these voters must ask someone to assist them in reading and or filling out the ballot. In other words, they must compromise the privacy of the ballot in order to complete it. This bill would address that situation. It's currently drafted. The bill will allow for electronic return of ballots. This has raised some concerns about compromised security. Council feels strongly that election security should be primary, but we think that it looks like these have been addressed, and as long as they have, we think
Thank
it really
you, Mr. Marshall.
Thank you.